Those officials, of high rank or low, around the gauze drying pavilion, the old prince in the royal residence, and the entire population of the city, whether military or civilian, male or female, Buddhist monks or nuns, Taoist clergy or laymen, all began chanting the name of Buddha and kowtowing. Each household, moreover, took up lighted incense and worshipped. Truly, images seen redeem monks to the real. To bless the human world with peace and weal. Henceforth the fruit ripens on body's way, where all honor Chan and Buddha obey. After the three disciples had made a thorough display of their heroic ability, they lowered their auspicious clouds and put away their weapons. Going before the Tang monk, they bowed and thanked their master for permission before taking their seats again. There we shall leave them for the moment. We tell you instead about those three young princes, who hurried back to the palace to report to the old prince, saying, "Father King, 10,000 happinesses have come upon you. Unsurpassable merit may be ours this very moment. Have you seen the display in midair? I only saw colorful mists in the sky," replied the old prince. "And immediately your mother and I burned incense to worship along with the rest of the residents of the palace. We have no idea what immortals have come down and congregated at this place. They weren't immortals from anywhere," said one of the young princes. "They were just those very ugly disciples of the scripture-seeking priest. One of them used a golden hooped iron rod, one a 9-pronged muckrake, and the third a fiend-rooting treasure staff. Though the weapons we three use may resemble theirs, ours can in no way be compared with those three weapons. We asked them to exercise for us, and they told us that it was too cramped for them to perform on the ground. They wanted to rise to the air to give us an exhibition. When they mounted the clouds, the sky was filled with auspicious clouds meandering and hallowed air circling. They finally dropped down only a moment ago to take their seats once more in the gauze drying pavilion. Your sons are so delighted that they would like very much to honor them as teachers. If we could learn their ability to protect our nation, this would be indeed our unsurpassable merit. We wonder what our father king thinks of this." The aged prince at once gave his consent to what he heard. And so father and sons, the four of them, did not ask for the royal carriage or the imperial panoply. Instead, they walked to the gauze drying pavilion, where they found the four pilgrims packing their belongings and just about to enter the royal palace to give thanks for the meal. No sooner had the Jade Flower and his sons entered the pavilion than they all bowed low, so startling the elder that he, too, hugged the earth to return the salutation. Pilgrim and his two brothers, however, stepped to one side and only gave a slight smile. After the bows, the prince invited the four priests to enter the main hall to take a seat, and the four amiably agreed. Then the old prince stood up and said, "Old Master Tang, we have a request to make. Do you think that your noble disciples will grant it?" "Please tell us, Your Highness," said Tripitaka. "My humble disciples would not dare refuse you. When we first met you," said the old prince, "we thought that you were merely mendicants from the distant Tang court. In fact, our eyes of flesh and our mortal disposition prevented us from recognizing you, and we might have greatly offended you. Just now when we beheld how Master Sun, Master Ju, and Master Sha performed in the air, we realized that you are immortals and Buddhas. As our three unworthy sons have always been fond of martial arts, they are now most eager to become disciples in order to learn the art well. We, therefore, beg the masters to open their hearts wide as heaven and earth. Spread afar your vessels of mercy and transmit your mysteries to our humble offspring. We shall thank you with the wealth of our entire city." On hearing this, Pilgrim could not refrain from laughing uproariously. "Your Highness," he said, "you're so benighted. We are people who have left the family, and we're only too anxious to take on a few disciples. If your sons have the desire to follow virtue, you think we'd turn them down? Just don't bother with even the merest hint of payment or profit. Treat us with kindness, that shall be our sufficient reward." The prince was delighted by Pilgrim's words, and he immediately gave the order for a huge banquet to be laid out right there in the main hall of his residence. Behold, no sooner had the decree been issued than it was carried out. You see, colors aflutter, curls of fragrant smoke, and gold inlaid tables festooned in bright silk, to dazzle one's eyes. Gay lacquered chairs with brocade spread out add stylishness to the seats. Fresh fruits from the trees, and aromatic teas. 4 or 5 dishes of pastries so light and sweet. 1 or 2 panfuls of breads both rich and neat. More marvelous are those steamed crispies and honey glazed. The oily dips and sugar roasted are truly great. A few bottles of fragrant glutinous rice wine, which, when poured, surpasses the juice of jade. Several cups of Yangxian divine tea offered, once held in hand. Its scent o'erpowers the kasha. There's food of every variety. Each item is extraordinary. During this time, the court entertainers were ordered to sing, to dance, and to play their woodwind and string instruments. Master and disciples spent a happy day together with the prince and his princes. When night fell, the food and wine were taken away and bedding was laid out at the gauze drying pavilion for the pilgrims to rest. By morning, the prince said the young princes would burn incense and return with all sincerity to receive instruction in martial arts. As each person obeyed the royal command, scented liquid was prepared for the masters to bathe in before retiring. At this time, the birds rest aloft and all seems at peace. He leaves the couch, the poet's chantings cease. The Milky Way shines as the heavens brighten. The wild paths forlorn where grasses heighten. Washing flails jangle in a yard nearby. Dark, distant hills where homeward longings lie. To no one's feelings the cold cricket seems. Its loud plaint by bedside would pierce your dreams. The night went by, and early in the morning, the old prince and his sons arrived once more to visit. When they were received by the elder, they greeted the priests as their teachers, even though they themselves had been honored as royalty the day before. Thus the young princes kowtowed to Pilgrim, 8 Rules, and Sha Monk as they made this request. We beg the honorable teachers to take out their weapons and allow their disciples to look at them once more. On hearing this, 8 Rules took out amiably his muckrake and laid it on the ground, while Sha Monk leaned his treasure staff against a wall. The second and third princes leapt up at once and tried to pick up the weapons. It was, however, as if dragonflies were pummeling pillars of rock. Though both princes struggled till their heads reddened and their faces turned scarlet, they could not budge the weapons one whit. When the eldest prince saw this, he called out, "Brothers, stop wasting your energy. You should know that the masters are all divine weapons, but I wonder how heavy they are." With a chuckle, 8 Rules said, "My rake's not too heavy. No more, in fact, than the weight of a single cannon. Including the handle, it weighs 5,048 pounds. Turning to Sha Monk, the third prince asked, "Master, how heavy is your treasure staff?" "It's also 5,048 pounds. Replied Sha Monk. The eldest prince then asked Pilgrim to show him his golden hooped rod. Pilgrim at once took out a tiny needle from his ear. One wave of it in the wind and it acquired the thickness of a rice bowl. As it stood there erect before their eyes, all the princes were frightened and all the officials grew apprehensive. Bowing, the 3 young princes said, "The weapons of Master Ju and Master Sha are all carried on their persons and are taken out from beneath their clothes. Why is it that only Master Sun takes out his from his ear? Why does it grow the moment it's exposed to the wind?" Smiling, Pilgrim said, "You don't seem to realize that my rod isn't just something you can pick up anywhere in this mortal world. This happens to be an iron rod forged at creation's dawn. By great Yu himself, the God-man of old. The depths of all oceans, rivers, and lakes were fathomed and fixed by this very rod. Having bored through mountains and conquered floods, it stayed in East Ocean and ruled the seas, where after long years it turned luminous, able to grow or shrink or radiate. To call it my own was old monkey's fate. To make it change in any way I wish I want it big, it'll fill the universe. I want it small, it'll be a tiny pin. Its name's compliant, its style, golden hooped. In heaven and earth, something quite unique. Its weight, 13,500 pounds. It can grow thick or thin, can wane or wax. It helped me to havoc the house of heaven. It followed me to crush the halls of earth. It tames tigers and dragons everywhere. It smelts at all places demons and fiends. One jab upward will make the sun grow dim, and daunt the gods and ghosts of heaven and earth. A treasure handed down from chaos time. No worldly iron is this rod sublime. When those princes heard this declaration, every one of them bowed again and begged with all sincerity for instruction. "What sort of martial arts do you three want to learn?" asked Pilgrim. One of the princes said, "The one used to wielding a rod will study the rod. The one accustomed to using a rake will study the rake, and the one fond of using the staff will study the staff. It's easy enough to give instruction," said Pilgrim with a smile. "But none of you has any strength, and you can't wield our weapons.